I want you to look at the date. It's January 31st, 2026. Exactly 1 year to the day. Since the DOGE initiative, that's the Department of Government Efficiency, said they were going to finally audit the Federal Reserves.
We all remember it. The promise was a live-streamed, completely forensic dissection of Fort Knox.
Elon Musk, Starlink cameras, the whole 9 yards. It was meant to be the ultimate transparency event.
And instead, we got silence. Complete silence. The initiative was just killed before a single vault door even opened.
Which is exactly why we're not treating this like a history lesson. This is a crime scene investigation.
It really is.
We've pulled the forensic reports from '74, the leaked memos from that 2025 cancellation, even the balance sheets from the Bank for International Settlements. We're looking at a theory. It's called encumbrance.
Encumbrance is, well, it's the terrifying part. Most people, they ask, is the vault empty?
Right. That's the classic conspiracy.
But it's the wrong question. The gold is probably physically there. The real question, the one we need to answer, is who actually holds the title?
Because if this encumbrance theory is correct,
then the United States is basically just squatting on gold that belongs to foreign central banks.
Which means the US dollar, the reserve currency for the entire world, is backed by, well, by zero unencumbered equity.
It's a terrifying thought. So let's get into the evidence.
We have to start with the building itself. You have to strip away the mythology of Fort Knox, the granite, the steel.
It's all designed to look like an impregnable fortress, but functionally it's a black box.
A black box, how so?
The architecture is a masterclass in psychological operations. You see the 16,500 cubic feet of granite, that 20-ton door, and you think safety, you think solvency.
Right.
But those walls aren't there to keep thieves out. I mean, think about it. Logistically, stealing 4,000 tons of gold is impossible. You need a fleet of trucks, weeks of time.
Nobody is Ocean's 11ing this place.
Exactly. So the security serves a totally different purpose: opacity. It allows the Treasury to maintain a complete information embargo. The only data that gets out is what they choose to release. There's no third-party check.
And the official narrative has always been, the gold is there, it's ours, and it never, ever moves.
Which we know is a lie. We have the flight logs from the 1960s to prove it.
The London gold pool era. This is so critical for understanding the 2025 cover-up.
It is. Back in the 60s, the U.S. and European central banks were in a street fight to keep gold pegged at $35 an ounce.
So to do that, they had to literally flood the market with physical metal every time the price even threatened to move up.
And we were footing half the bill. The records are clear. March 1968. The U.S. Air Force was running emergency sorties, literally airlifting gold bars out of Fort Knox and flying them to London just to meet demand.
We bled gold. The stockpile dropped from over 20,000 tons after World War II to about 8,000 by 1971.
Which is right when Nixon closed the gold window. Ended convertibility.
And the official story is that the outflows just stopped right there. But here's the logical problem with that. If you were willing to drain your strategic reserves to save a price peg in 1968, why wouldn't you be willing to leverage those same reserves to save the dollar's global dominance in 2026?
That's the gap in logic. The government claims the gold has sat there untouched for 50 years, but the financial incentive to use it, to leverage it, has only gotten stronger and stronger over time.
So let's look at the last time they actually tried to prove it was there, the infamous 1974 audit.
Ah, the Potemkin village incident.
I've been reading the General Accounting Office report on it, and I mean, it reads like stage directions for a play.
Because it was theater. You have to remember the context of 74. Post-Watergate, crazy inflation, zero trust in any institution.
And you had that guy, Dr. Peter Better.
Right. The conspiracy theorist who was screaming from the rooftops that the Rockefellers had looted the vaults and replaced the gold with plutonium.
Which is scientifically nonsense, of course, but it got so much traction that the Treasury had to do something.
So on September 23, 1974, they invite a delegation inside. Senator Walter Huddleston, a few journalists. They open the doors, they take some pictures, everyone shakes hands.
Mission accomplished, public trust restored.
Except he was not, if you actually look at the methodology, they only opened 3 compartments.
3 out of dozens.
Fort Knox has dozens of these sealed compartments. The audit, if you can call it that, covered roughly 21% of the total claimed inventory.
21%. I mean, if a public company tried to audit just 21% of its assets and then said the rest were probably fine, the SEC would shut them down before lunch.
Precisely, and that's where the Potemkin Village accusation comes from. Critics argued, and I think plausibly, that since the Treasury controlled the whole show, they could have just moved all the remaining gold into those 3 specific rooms for the photo op.
It's like a developer showing you the model home. You know, the furniture's real, the lights work, but the house next door is just a cardboard facade.
And the forensic science was even worse. They didn't weigh every bar. They didn't assay every bar. They took a random sample, drilled some small holes for shavings to test the purity.
But they were expecting coin melt from the 1930s, right?
Yes, so they accepted a lower purity standard from the get-go. Then they extrapolated the findings from that tiny sample to the entire 21%, and then extrapolated that to the other 79% they never even saw.
And that was it. That was the last time anyone from the outside truly saw the gold, 1974.
Since then, we've been living under what's called the seal regime.
And this is where the audit rot really sets in.
It does. After 74, they created this Committee for Continuing Audit, but they stopped doing any physical inventory. Instead, they just check the seals.
Okay, explain that mechanism, because when I hear audit, I think someone is counting something.
No, this is a visual inspection of a wax or a cable seal on a door. The Office of Inspector General sends a team down a hallway. They look at a door. If the seal that was placed there in, say, 1974 or 1982 is unbroken, the gold inside is marked as verified.
So, we have compartments that haven't been opened in 50 years. We're trusting that the seal is fine. And more importantly, we're trusting the gold was even there when the seal was put on.
And it gets even murkier.
Oh.
In 2010, they replaced the old seals with new tamper-evident cable seals.
Okay.
The Inspector General at the time, Eric Thorson, he testified that he saw the gold during this process. But there is zero record of a reweighing, no drilling, no ultrasound testing, just a visual.
And 2010 is a crucial date because by then, the tungsten threat was well known.
Exactly. Back in the 1930s, you couldn't effectively fake a gold bar. Today, you can. Tungsten has a density of 19.25 grams per cubic centimeter. Gold is 19.30.
It's almost identical.
You can make a tungsten brick, plate it with a thick layer of real gold, and it will pass a weight test and a visual inspection every single time.
The only way to catch it is with an ultrasound or by drilling straight through the core.
Which the Treasury flatly refuses to do. They will not do destructive testing.
So we have a stockpile that's integrity rests on a bureaucratic chain of custody that's been broken for half a century.
That's the physical side of it.
Okay. So the physical audit is a sham. Let's get to the real heart of this, the encumbrance theory. Because even if all the bars are real gold, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. It doesn't mean we actually own them.
This is the motive. This is why you keep it all secret.
Yeah.
Because the gold is being used as collateral.
And this is where the Bank for International Settlements comes in, the BIS.
The Central Bank for Central Banks, based in Basel, Switzerland. They are the ones who facilitate what are called gold swaps.
Let's break that down. How does that transaction actually work on the books?
Okay, so a gold swap is basically a loan. Let's say the U.S. Treasury needs foreign currency, euros, yen, whatever. They can't just print euros, so they go to the BIS.
And they pawn the gold.
In sense, yes. They swap the title of the gold for cash. But here's the key part of the mechanism. The physical gold bars stay in Fort Knox. They never move. But on the accounting ledger, the ownership tag flips.
It goes from unencumbered asset of the U.S. Treasury
to held in custody for the BIS. So if a physical auditor, like the OIG guy looking at seals, walks in, he sees a vault full of gold. He checks the box. Gold is here.
But a financial auditor looking at the real books would see something very different.
He'd see that gold is a liability. It has a lien against it. It's encumbered.
And we know this happens. There's data from 2010 showing a massive 346-ton spike in gold swaps at the BIS. That gold had to come from somewhere.
The theory, the gated gold antitrust action argument, is that the U.S. has been habitually swapping its gold title to suppress the price of gold.
Why? What's the motive for that?
Because if gold finds its true market value, say $10,000, $15,000 an ounce, it's a global signal that the dollar has failed. It shatters the illusion of fiat currency.
So to keep the dollar on top, you have to keep gold in a cage. And to do that, you flood the paper gold market with supply.
Exactly. You lease it out. For every single ounce of physical gold that might exist, there are maybe 100 claims on that gold in the paper market futures, ETFs. That kind of leverage is only possible if everyone believes the physical stuff is there to back it all up.
It's fractional reserve banking on a global scale, but the problem is, unlike a bank run where you can just print more dollars, you can't print gold.
And if the BIS or China or any other central bank ever called the bluff and demanded physical delivery, the music stops. The default is instantaneous.
Which brings us right back to the DOGE audit of 2025, the catalyst.
Let's revisit it. January 2025, President Trump is back. Elon Musk is running DOGE. He tweets, "The era of secrecy is over." They draft a bill, H.R. 3795. The Gold Reserve Transparency Act.
And the language in that bill was so specific. It wasn't a visual inspection. It called for a full forensic assay. Destructive testing, ultrasound, weighing every single bar.
And Musk wanted it all live streamed.
I remember the hype. It was going to be the Super Bowl of finance, and then summer of 2025 rolls around, and the whole narrative just changes.
The bill stalls in committee. The tweets stop. The White House stops answering questions about the audit and starts talking about preserving market confidence.
Confidence is the code word for cover-up.
Always. If the encumbrance theory is right, the administration walked right up to the edge of the abyss. They looked down, and they saw three things that absolutely terrified them.
Okay, let's walk through them. Why would the disruptor administration kill their own audit?
Reason one, systemic risk. If they open the books and the world sees that those 8,000 tons of gold are legally owned by the BIS or somebody else, the entire paper gold market collapses to zero overnight.
Because the collateral that underpins that 100-to-1 leverage, it turns out to be a ghost.
A ghost. It's 2008 times 100. Reason two is the complete opposite, market panic.
Yeah.
Let's say for argument's sake, the gold is there and it is unencumbered.
Okay.
If you prove the U.S. has trillions in real unencumbered money, gold re-rates instantly. It jumps to $20,000 an ounce. The dollar relative to gold crashes. You get massive deflation and you destroy the bond market.
So, heads the market crashes, tails the dollar crashes.
It's a lose-lose. And then there's the third reason, which is just logistical, but it's just as damning. The good delivery issue.
Explain that. That's about the quality of the bars themselves, right?
Yes. Most of the gold in Fort Knox is that old coin melt from the 1933 confiscation. It's about 90% pure. Modern financial markets, they require London good delivery bars. That's 99.5% pure or higher.
So even if we own it, we can't really use it on the modern market.
Not without refining all of it first, and refining 8,000 tons of gold would take years, cost billions, and you can't do it quietly. The market would see it happening. The U.S. stockpile is effectively illiquid. It's frozen.
So Musk and his team realized that proving the gold is real is actually more dangerous than leaving it in the dark.
That's the verdict. The failure of the DOGE audit is the smoking gun. If the gold was clean, unencumbered, and ready to go, they would have shown it to us. It would have been the ultimate America is back moment.
The fact that they silenced it tells you everything. The truth is a systemic threat.
It's Schrodinger's vault. As long as that door stays closed, the gold is both there and not there. The dollar holds its value based on a quantum state of willful ignorance.
But you can see the cracks forming. Look at the BRICS nations just hoarding physical gold. Central banks went on a buying spree in 2024, 2025. They know the paper game is ending.
Which brings us back to you listening to this, to the money in your bank account. If the U.S. gold reserve is a mortgage that's been spent 10 times over through these BIS swaps, what is actually backing the dollar?
Nothing but full faith and credit.
And faith is a finite resource. When you realize the gold is mortgaged to the hilt just to keep the whole system from imploding, you realize the dollar isn't a store of value. It's an IOU from an entity that can't pay.
The static inventory reports, the refusal to drill, the 74 theater, the 2025 silence, it all points one way.
It points to a default, not a loud one, a quiet one, where they pay you back with a currency that has lost its anchor.
We always look at that 20-ton door and think it's there to stop a heist. But when you look at all this evidence, the heist already happened.
The thieves aren't trying to get in. They're already inside, and they're running the ledger.
And that door, it's not there to keep us out. It's there to keep the truth in.
And as long as it stays shut, the illusion holds. But illusions don't last forever.
We'll leave you with that. Take a look at your portfolio, take a look at the history, and ask yourself, who really owns the title to your money? We'll see you in the next deep dive.